Hello everyone, I'm Sherry and you're watching Lessons Learned. Welcome to the first installation of the 2022 March Block a Day, hosted by Pat Sloan. This is the string beans block, and there's a block per day for the month of March. And go to her website, patsloan.com, also called ilovetomakequilts.com, and go to sew-alongs and then pick the string beans pattern. You can print that out. You can see the diagram here. It's about a 12.5 by 15.5 finished 12 by 15, so these will be big blocks, and you'll have 30 when you get done if you do a block a day. It's March the 2nd, so I'm a little bit behind, but I wanted to show you my fabrics that I chose, and then I'm going to get to cutting. So I wanted to do something something very springy and bright and vibrant in anticipation of spring. It is March, not quite spring yet, but we're getting there. This is just a mock-up block that I did. These are the large ginghams that I got from Soya. And I've got these two colors here as well that I want to use. Those will be my center block, which is the bigger block. And the strips around the edge are all 2.5. And then I've got a variety of blues and, not blues, oranges and greens and yellows in those. All in the very yellowy tones. No cool colors here. They're all warm colors pretty much. And then these fabrics here, this one, and then these three I'm going to use. Well, actually, I have these two in this block. I'm using that. This is something from my stash. This is Darlene Michaud fabric as well. It's not her fabric, but you know, she sells fabric. That's where I got it. So that's what I wanted to explain to you. So let's get to cutting everything out. These bigger blocks I'll do in one size, and all of the other cuts will be strips. So follow along, and then after that I'll be sewing my at least one of my blocks together, if not two. I'm trying to get these checks exactly square. I don't want them tilted one way or another to where they look crooked in the middle of each block. So I'm actually using the lines on the fabric to get the cut that I want. A little bit tricky. Just kind of watch. It's okay if it's off just a teeny tiny bit, and I'm not worried about the fact that this is a darker line and this is a lighter and one's narrower than the other. I'm mainly concerned with just making sure the pattern is straight up and down and perpendicular. I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but I think you get what I mean. See, this one's a little bit off. I think I'll go ahead and trim that, because as I go across, it's gonna start making a difference in the size. I don't know how many I can get out of this. Probably see. Only 2, so that's only 4. So I think I will continue my cut line since I have the fabric to guide me. I didn't think I was going to have to iron down this, but I think I can manage it without going over there and trying to iron that down. So let's go all the way up. Now I'll know on my other 2 colors how to cut them. Trial and error when you're first starting on a new project. Seems like, anyway, for me. Okay, so I need 10 of these, as I've said multiple times. Just trying to keep it in my head. See if I can stack these in any way. Some good way. May have to square these up individually as I use them. Let's see, where's that selvage? I'm gonna cut about right there. Always check your pattern twice, 3 times. Make sure you're cutting them right. You don't want to cut 10 blocks off by a quarter. Although I've done such crazy things before. Let's see how many that got me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 6. And then this should be 6, so that's 12. So I've got some to play with there. And this. Won't need those though. Save that for another project. Now let's do the other 2 colors. And see if I learned anything. Hopefully I won't repeat the mistake of cutting to the middle. Give it a little stretch to kind of straighten it out. It's got a little bit of a bow, but I'm just going to go for it. Such a daredevil. Y'all are cringing. You're sitting on your couch cringing at me right now, aren't you? It's like, don't do it. It's not going to be right on the underneath side. It may not. Close enough for me. Okay, let's get that on a line. 12 of those. I only need 10, remember. And one more, my yellow. See how these look. By the way, these look pretty straight, right? I'm okay with that. We don't have to be uptight about our cutting, do we? Do we really? This side looks really good if I cut just a little tiny bit off of it. I don't know what it's doing underneath though. Same. This is the straightest of all of them as far as how it's folded. I was going to mention to you too that you see how sometimes I start in the middle when I cut, and that's because, have you noticed when you're cutting along from the very bottom that the fabric starts to like wrinkle up and bunch up? If you start in the middle, at least you'll get half of that wrinkling out of there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a... Okay, looks good. Start in the middle, especially if you have several layers. This is only 2 layers, but even when I had them, you know, in the smaller size, and I was cutting off the side, cutting it to size, I started in the middle, and there was, you know, 6 of them, so that worked really good. I don't know if it's correct in the quilting world. There's so many people out there that are just really perfect quilters, you know. And that's paid off for them. That's great. But I'll never be that. I don't know about you, but I will never be that. One of them I can think of is Angela Walters. Have you ever seen her? She's got a website. She used to be under Craftsy. I don't know if she's still under Craftsy. It might just be Angela Walters. But wow, she's just a perfect. She gets everything so perfectly lined up. I don't think I could ever meet her level of perfection. And I don't know, I just don't want to get, like I said, all bunched up about everything because it's supposed to be fun. Now she's enjoying herself, that's great. She's doing great, but I think the most of us are kind of like myself. Most of y'all probably are too, where, you know, let's just make it fun and relaxing. We don't need any more stress in our lives than we already have, so let's just enjoy it. And if we make a little mistake or something's a little cattywampus, then so be it. Am I cutting too much off? Maybe. Let's do that. See, now there is, how many layers? 6 layers here. And I'm even using my smaller Olfa cutter. Start in the middle. You don't get any bunching up. Okay. Just punch your blade down. Make sure you're got all the way through. Go up and go back down. Works good. There we go. Pretty darn perfect for not trying too hard to be perfect. Alright, so we've got, as far as we know, everything we need, or I have everything I need cut into strips or that big square. Now, as I go, I think I'll cut my strips down to size as I go, because I don't know if I'm going to use, you know, a short strip across or a long strip down. So as I decide on my block, my first block, I'm just going to cut them as I design them. So let's do that. Looking at my diagram here, start in the middle, just pick one. Okay. This is the fun part. Try to get a variety here. Okay, so there we go. There's my block, if you could imagine that without the tails. Hope you can see it. I may have started way down too far than the table. So I'm going to cut this to size and then I'll go sew it. Forgot one. Okay, so this is my smallest one. So this one goes to this one. That's the first step. I'm going to sew those together. Here's the first one. 1/4 inch seam. Pressed it towards this. Pressed it out towards this one. I think I want to do that because I don't think we want our seam allowances showing on this inside block. Okay, so the next one is this one. There we go. Put those two sides together. Watch out for this because I'm going to be sewing this side. Make sure it doesn't flip down. Okay, so next one would be this one. Okay, our next one will be this side. It's kind of tedious how I'm doing this. I may have to rethink it. But I just want to have control over what goes where. I don't want to just cut a bunch of sizes. Okay, this way. Now see, my middle block is off just a teeny tiny bit right here. But I don't think it's going to detract from what we're doing here. It's going to look straight for the most part. Okay, so now there's that and that. Now what goes next? It's going to be this one. Yes, this one. So that would be, it has a selvage. Yes. We're getting there. Here we go. And let's see. Next would be, it would have to be this one. Yes, this one. This is just a very slight green. Very light. We're getting so close. All right, the next one will be this one here. One more, our orange one. It's our biggest one. Uh-oh, Blue's a barking. Probably saw a squirrel. Alrighty, block number 1 of the string bean block. So it's supposed to be squared up to 12 by 15. Let's see how awful I did on that. Where's my numbers? 12, 12. Yeah. I got enough to square it up. And what did I say? 15? Well, yeah. Got about a 1/4 inch to spare on each side. So there you go. First block done. So maybe tomorrow or the next day I will do a couple blocks and show you the sewing part of it if you want to see that. Some of you like to see every step. So I like it. I hope you like it too. And I hope you're getting your fabrics together, or if you haven't already started. So if you have, send me a picture of your block on the email. If it's not on this page right at the second, then it's in the description box. So I'm excited. Well on our way now to another quilt project. Thanks for watching, you guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.